Harvey's Hot Takes with Bryan Hayes is back. And Bryan, to no one's surprise, Mitch Marner is the #1 free agent on our big board. And our hockey insider Chris Johnston said on Monday that no fewer than 20 teams will make the call to Mitch Marner and his agent on July 1. 20 teams. That's a lot of teams. That's basically 2/3 of the teams. And he mentioned teams like Florida and teams like Las Vegas. I mean, teams that are contending now would be in that mix. What do you think the reaction from fans in Toronto would be if Mitchell accepted less money to go to a team like the Florida Panthers?
I think the fan base would spontaneously combust. I don't think they could ever recover from something like that. People's heads would be popping off. And I find it hard to believe we will get to that point. Based on my experience following the career of Mitch Marner, the idea that he would take less money seems very, very far-fetched. Now, the taxes are important, and we talk about it a lot in this league, in a hard salary cap. The state of Florida, right, different states like Texas, Nevada, and others, where they can offer up, more money, more bang for your buck, so to speak, based on the cap hit. So that could be the spin. Right, it's actually a little bit less money, but it's really more because of the taxes. But I don't think Leaf fans would take kindly to it, simply because of what Leaf fans experienced 6 years ago when Mitch was a restricted free agent and made sure he got every penny he could. And the crazy thing is the Maple Leafs are to blame, obviously, for capitulating time after time after time with all of their big free agents. But if they actually held strong, actually won that negotiation, quote unquote, 6 years ago, and demanded Mitch Marner do what basically every other star RFA does, sign an 8-year deal. He'd still have 2 more years left on his contract. But they didn't win that deal. They did buckle. They gave him everything. They overpaid him 6 years ago. And now I think he'll continue to get paid a lot. But he has always been treated a little bit differently. And I believe I've said this on your show before. And I'm speaking of Marner because of his hometown being Toronto. And I think that's what a lot of Leaf fans took personally 6 years ago. They didn't expect Matthews to see it the same way or Nylander to see it the same way. They were hopeful that Marner would do it, that Marner would give a hometown discount. And the idea that he would leave and give Vegas a hometown discount or Florida or Tampa or one of these other teams, I really think would burn him in terms of this marketplace. And it's too bad that it's gotten to this point, right, where we're talking him leaving, him chasing money elsewhere, but also possibly chasing the idea that he can win somewhere else. And that could hurt, too, in the end. Right, the money is always important. In a hard salary cap, everyone has to be a mathematician. You got to get your, calculator out and try to formulate some sort of a plan where it turns into a math equation whether or not you can win a Stanley Cup or not. But if Marner sells it, in retrospect, not only am I taking money somewhere else, but the reason I'm doing it is because I think I can win in Vegas or win in Florida and kind of pull a Kevin Durant. That would also really sting because I think it would be truthful. I think a lot of Leaf fans would take offense to that, but it'd be tough to argue against it, right? Because the Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup in almost 60 years. Vegas wins. Florida wins. If that ends up happening with Mitch Marner, it will burn on 2 different levels. The money, but also the messaging. I can't win in Toronto. I'm going somewhere else where I think I can.
Speaking of Florida, Bryan Hayes, Sam Bennett is at #2 on our big board. And, of course, Leaf fans would love to sign Sam Bennett. In fact, pretty much every team in the league would probably love to have a Sam Bennett on their team, especially for the postseason. Here's the issue. He scored 51 points this year. That is a career high. It is a real tough read to find out exactly what this guy is going to be paid when July 1st rolls around. Do you think he will actually end up being worth the contract that he ends up signing this summer?
I think it really comes down to where he goes. I really do. I think if the idea of a team like San Jose or Chicago, a team that's not a playoff team or even close to it, signing Sam Bennett to big money and hoping he will come in and be a star and drag them to the playoffs, that's not going to happen. That will not work out well. That will not look good. It will not feel good. It will not pay off. Sam Bennett is clearly in the best possible scenario he could be in, which is in Florida because he's insulated. He's a really good player, and he's a great playoff performer. But that last point needs to apply to wherever he goes next. It can't just be 82 regular season games and then he's golfing on April 20th, or it's not going to work. He's at his best, Sam Bennett, when he has a chance to perform in the playoffs. So he's got to go to a team either like Florida, where he's clearly the number 2 center, and even on his own line, he's not the best player, or a team like Toronto, which would make a ton of sense, because Austin Matthews clearly is the superstar number 1 center. Sam Bennett's not pushing up on that. He's not pushing him out of the way. If Bennett was on a second line with a guy like William Nylander would be the guy that would supply a ton of offense. Bennett just has to continue to do what he's been doing in Florida. So it would have to be a team like Toronto, like Carolina, a team that is right there and ready to get over the top, because if you win, all the money and all of the details of it, to me, are completely irrelevant. I don't think any GM in this sport or any other sport ever has to explain a thing if they win. If their team is the last one standing, I don't care if you made an awful trade in the past. It doesn't matter. I don't care if there was an awful signing or an awful draft pick or some poor decision in the past. It's all off the table at that point. If you put together the right team and it helps you win, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million, it doesn't matter. And I think that would apply really to Sam Bennett, because you pointed out the stats. He is what he is. He's not a superstar player. He's not a star player. But guess who loved him at the Four Nations face-off? Canada, right? They didn't care that he only had 51 points. John Cooper didn't care. He played, and he played big moments and supplied big moments. He scored in that final against the Americans, and look what he's doing throughout these playoffs. Look what he's done in the past in Florida. So yes, it will be a tough pill to swallow, maybe from game 1 to game 82. You will not regret it come playoff time. So you said earlier, Marner may have 20 teams calling him on July 1st. I guarantee you it's that many or more for Sam Bennett. They happen to have the same agent. He's a pretty lucky guy. He's a pretty lucky guy. And he's going to be a busy guy, because it's coming on July 1st if Bennett gets there. So, yeah, long story short, if he's on a playoff team and he pulls his weight, which I absolutely believe he will come playoff time, I don't care what the number is. You're going to be happy with him.
Right, July 1st is going to be a great day for Mitchell Marner, Sam Bennett, Mitchell Marner and Sam Bennett's agents, and, of course, us, because free agent frenzy is only 36 days away.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Customize your burger and get it delivered from our app to your door. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.